Welcome everybody to the N Word for Nerd podcast. If you have not realized from our opening, we are a show made by blurbs, but for all nerds and geeks. If you're not quite sure what a blurb is,
It's a black nerd. That's exactly what it is. Figure it out. It's on the internet. And if you listen to us, we are both African American. May not sound like it, but we are both black.
DMZ is set in a future dystopia where a second American Civil War is raging across the country. In this bleak post-apocalyptic world, medic Alma Ortega loses her son during the evacuation of New York City, and so despite the horrors and chaos of war, she sets out to find him. Uh, one sentence review. What would you get? What is your one sentence review, Jason?
Why isn't Benjamin Bratt more famous?
That is a very good question. Also, DMZ is on HBO Max. My one sentence review of DMZ would be: why is Rosario Dawson so beautiful, but looks like the same age as her son?
Man, it's your boy Jim Shoe. Keep it the chip too, but in your face art, man. We make art, we sell art. Thank you guys for watching this video. Just want to let you know that each and every video is sponsored by inyourfaceart.com. You'll be able to check down the link in the description so you can see many of the artworks that we do, designs, t-shirts, posters, customization, all that great stuff. So thank you for joining us, man. Thank you for coming to watch this video. I hope you get a lot of great value from it, a lot of good laughs. Or
they both flip about 45 in this.
Right. Jason, what is your review of DMZ?
So the first 4 episodes are on HBO Max. I only was able to see the first 2 because I ran out of time. Had a lot of kids' birthday parties to go to. But like this sort of genre stuff that I really like. Yeah, fuck them kids. But this sort of genre is like the stuff that I really like to watch. You know, like the whole idea of like how we're going to get through a very, very like almost like a time that we don't really see in America. And especially in this show, this takes place 8 years after the bad thing has happened. So these people are 8 years prior to all the stuff that normally in most of these things we'd be privy to at first. So like this genre already has me like kind of you know, at least intrigued in a way. For the first 2 episodes, there's some things that are like, wow, that resolved itself very quickly. You know,
barely inconvenience.
Yeah, it's barely inconvenience. You know, this girl she goes into the DMZ, which is Manhattan, which I don't understand why anybody would abandon like the financial center of the country, even if there was a civil war. But still, she goes to the DMZ to find her son, and you find out like like the very first scene, you think that she somehow lost her kid, who is like a teenager at this point. He's almost grown. And like and that like sort of like thing always like irks me. It's like, hold on to your kids during an apocalypse, y'all. Like, don't get in front of them and be like, oh, they weren't behind me. But then you find out later, like, there's a reason for why that happened. So at first I was like, she dumb. But then it's like, okay, I understand. Even though that kind of reasoning was also kind of dumb, like y'all in an apocalypse and y'all gonna do this right now, y'all gonna but that's neither here or there. But also in this, there are some times when the character where Rosario Dawson's character is just like not listening to the people who have been like in this situation for 8 years and like just and ends up getting people killed because of it. It's like, yo, you are new here. Like, you don't know what's going on. You don't know the rules. Stop just almost like, it's really horrible for me to say this, but like, she's like a white girl who's rolling through this, like, I know what I'm doing. Nothing can harm me. And like everybody around her is just getting murdered, like while she's got plot armor. And in the end of the second episode is like, yo, like, you've been here for 2 days and suddenly like everything's working out for you. And like, while everybody else has been, struggling to just survive. And so that's a little bit, weird in the storytelling for me. But there are some engaging things in there. Like the little boy, I find his whole little story very, very engaging. They do kind of not spoil, but like show that things aren't what they seem for him, like with the rest of the story very early on. And I could think that maybe they could have stretched just a little bit further. But they're like, hey, we got a story to tell, so fuck all this. Here's everything. No more mystery. Let's keep going. So that I don't like that aspect of it, but everything else seems pretty cool. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's not the best show in the world, but like, okay, as I said to my one sentence, Benjamin Bratt and this shit is just fucking great. He's
Right,
just
right.
awesome, you know, and like yeah, he's just fucking doing better than everybody else in the show. So that's also a plus. Just watching him on screen, it's just all sorts of greatness. So yeah, that's my review of this. It's I'm definitely gonna to after we're done with the show, watch the next 2 episodes just to see where this is going. Whether or not I finish the whole entire season or not, we don't know yet. But there's nothing egregiously bad about this for me as of right now. It's just not really anything like that. Definitely, it's like, oh, I got to watch this as of right now yet.
Right.
So yeah, it's fine. It's a fine show.
Look,
It's there.
is is DMZ better than TMZ? Absolutely, because TMZ's trash. Is it better than Is it better than DMX? No, because he's the man.
You
That
gonna
is
give it to
how I
me?
feel about this show. It's just, it's there. It is there. I love Rosario Dawson, and I can't wait till she shows up as Ahsoka. And I think she's going to do a great job in that. I think she does a really good job here. I just don't think it's anything interesting here. The problem is that they sell us a show preview wise, and then when you get into the show, it is a lot deeper and more complex, but not in a way that's intriguing and fun. In a way that just makes you realize, I wish the show would have been what the preview was. Like they pretty much, I would say this is what I gave the vibe of the show was for me. The vibe of the show made you feel like, oh, what would happen if we followed I Am Legend once they made it to the community? Like,
Yeah.
how would that world work once all the world around them seems to be destroyed? Yeah, you get that here, but it's like no cool have zombie vampire things. You just get a bunch of people walking and talking. And look, as a guy that loves Lord of the Rings, I'm all here for walking and talking when cool stuff happens between the walking and talking. Only one time cool stuff really happens between the walking and talking is what part that Jason's talking about, where people are like, nah, you shouldn't do this. Stick to this. Use these lies to get by. Don't say those things. Hey, you don't need to go in that area. Because and she just like you said, it's like, nah,
No,
those rules
it's
may
fine.
apply
I
to
got plot
you.
armor. You
But
don't
to
need to go to this
me,
area.
look, I'm not Sean Bean. So I'm definitely the star of the show for more than one season. So I'm gonna go and do my thing. Um, and that's fine because I think it does build an attitude of this character. And when people seem to come, not I don't say come to her, but seem to gravitate to her, it's believable because she does have a vibe about her. And I don't know if that's just
Yeah,
a Rosario Dawson vibe or if the character's written that well that we feel
it's
that.
inspired.
So, and I think that's a product of all the walking and talking. The problem is that in this world, one, it is hard to believe a woman by herself can make that kind of gravitas and this kind of, and I'm not saying it's not really post-apocalyptic to a degree, but DMZ stands for demilitarized zone.
The
So
rest
this
of the world is
area,
still there.
right. This area just decided to be Seattle, but way further, and decided to actually, know how to run the city rather than like being like, oh no, without the government's electricity and water, we're shot. Like
We
they
don't know
actually
what to
just
do.
completed the process. So it works on a level of that, and the stars in here are so good that it may carry me to watch further of it, but it doesn't have anything that I care about in the movie because like in the show, because like you said, the thought was like, oh, she's gonna go find her son. I'm like, oh, this would be a good thing to follow Rosario Dawson as she goes through the DMZ to these different places. Is my thought like, and
Yeah,
we can
and
see
fighting
how
all
these
these
different
different dangers and stuff.
right, and how these different places beside the DMZ function and work in this world. Nah, you see about 3 places like in the first 2 episodes, and that's pretty much it. And then we find out what happened to her son, and it's like, oh well, that's resolved. Won't she just go home now? But then it's like she feels a bigger responsibility, and I'm like, to who and to what? All that
Yeah,
you made us think about in your first episode was your responsibility was going to try to find your son. Granted, I know it was 8 years later, but I would understand that because they made it seem like it was hard to get into the DMZ. You had to know people that knew people. So yes, I feel like to make those connections would take a lot of years because people would have to learn to trust you enough to want to be able to show you how to do that because it seemed like they made it seem like it was illegal to go do this. So with all that being said, you get there and you realize that naturally, like all things, she has a history with the big
With
players in the
every
DMZ.
single big player.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, well, what? Then why did you go to the militarized zone? Like, why were you there then? Why didn't when you lost your son, you just thug it out in the DMZ because you seem to know everybody that made it pretty good out of it. Like, and this may, hey, look, and I want to say this to you guys. I only watched up to episode 3. This show may explain all those things I'm talking about, but they do not make those things the mystery of the show, though. And that's the issue I have with it is that all these questions I just asked, if they were like, hey, being presented to us in tidbits to be like, yeah, you should have these questions, then I will be sitting in and say, oh, I want to see how this unfolds. But these questions aren't even asked or presented. They're just, if you have any common sense mind, you just think this and they just keep moving right along with the show. Like we shouldn't even care about the stuff we just talked about. It just, yeah, I agree with you with the Benjamin Bratt thing. I mean, it's he's been too good for too long for him not to have his due. I understand he was in Catwoman. We forgave Holly Berry. Let's forgive him too.
Let's forgive Benjamin Bratt. we forgave fucking George Clooney, but of course we're gonna forgive George Clooney because it's George Clooney. So we should
Right,
forgive Benjamin Bratt.
right. But other than that, man, that's just that's my thoughts on it, man. You have anything to add, or we want to go into the review?
Yeah, like
I mean, to the rating. Excuse me.
the one thing I want to add is because of the way that she loses her son, and we find out in the second episode why that happens. It intrigues me to think that maybe our protagonist is not the reliable narrator that we think she is. That we are seeing things play out, and we're supposed to think a certain way about her, but maybe that we're going to find out later that she is not the person that's being presented to us. And I hope that is the case because that would be a very intriguing thing to do. Because right now she is this white knight, and you're like, why would you make this choice if she's such a good person? Especially when there are bullets and shit flying at you, and you're just like, no. So I'm hoping that like there is definitely going to be a heel turn later down the line, and that will be why everything was like that. That would be the biggest hint to it. So there could be a heel turn down the line, and I hope that maybe because that would be a cool thing to see. But if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But I'm hoping that's something that we'll see later.
Well, no worries. Like I said again, it's on HBO Max, and I think DMZ is a DC Comics. Like,
Yeah,
okay, just
it
so
was
people know more that this is an original IP. This is a comic book IP.
Yeah, because nothing's original.
Yeah, 100%. All right, what would you rate DMZ, Jason?
Let's go with like a 2.5 out of 5. It's not bad. It's just not. It's not really like enough to like grab you by the balls. You're like, I gotta watch the next episode. Like,
If only she would grab me by the balls. That
Oh,
would make
man.
me want to watch the next episode.
I feel like Rosario Dawson's hands would be pretty rough, though. I don't know why.
Here for it. I'm here for it. Look, I'm black. I carry this right beside me down here, man.
It's like, here you go.
Like I got the real rough stuff, like the eczema cream version. So like,
yeah, go rub this on your hands real quick before you done rubbing my face.
Things right on there and watch episode 4 with her. Because I'm giving it a 1.5. It only gave it a 0.5 because maybe the stuff I'm talking about and complaining about gets expanded upon for the rest of the season. I highly doubt it, but maybe it will. So I'm gonna give it a 1.5, reserving it the right that once the series ends, because we usually do a follow-up, and I may drop my score even lower.
Let's also 100% keep this black as well. This show is executively produced by Ava DuVernay. I can't pronounce her last name. She done, When They See Us, the 13 documentary. She's out there, a black woman, getting DC properties and shit. That's awesome. But sometimes you gotta try a little better.
Look, I mean, and I'm gonna say this, and I know people. Look, see, and I hate being this dude. I hate being this dude. I hate being this dude because I feel like me being a black man, me loving black people, loving all things black, but also being married to a white woman. When I say these harsh things, people, I feel like they think, "Oh, that's just like
Uncle
you a
Ruckus.
sellout."
You Uncle Ruckus over here.
But okay, the 13th was cool. The Netflix thing, It was kind of boring, but very educational. But it was cool. It was a documentary, and also it was supposed to be teaching. All right. Wrinkle in Time with some butt cheeks.
Oh, Ringo's High was terrible. That
Now
was
my
bad.
daughters enjoyed it, but it was like because they don't know no better, and it was like, oh, it's a dragon, and it's giants. But Wrinkle in Time with some butt cheeks. This new one, Naomi on the WB, it ain't looking too good for me. I had to stop watching it, and I said I'll wait till the season then to pick it back up. And she has her hand in that. When They See Us is a great
It's a
series. I
master.
can't
It's
say
a
nothing about
masterpiece.
it. It's amazing. Selma
She
is
is
really good too.
inconsistent at best.
Right. It's just all right. Colin, Black and White, that's just some butt cheeks, guys. And I love Colin Kaepernick. That's just some butt cheeks, man. Like, I got my own things that I agree with Colin on, but come on, man. It's some butt cheeks. The point I'm getting to, yes, Jason, Queen Sugar, great.
Great.
I think Queen Sugar is one of the best shows that nobody talks about that should be watched. My point I'm getting to is like, and then she came up with those comments not a while back, where like black folks, we call people, oh, that's auntie, blah blah blah. Like we got people that's in the game that we just like call aunt and uncle. And she was like, oh, I don't want to be nobody aunt. I still think I'm sexy and vibrant. I want to be like, whoa. Like, you would still be a fine ass aunt. Like, what we trying to say in the culture, you make us feel so much like family from the things that you do, say, and how you act and what you represent, that like everybody feels like you family. Like, I feel like she knows that, and I know she knows that, but I feel like the response to that was very like suspect for me. And then when I see these trash ass movies and stuff, and I'd be like, all right, Ava, I got you on notice, man. I don't want to Michael B. Jordan you, bruh. And if
Look.
nobody don't know, I say Michael B. Jordan can't act. And I think he's just popular because they need a black face. Ava feels very, we just need a black director, and she's a woman. Yeah, she should do this. And I'm not saying it's there yet. I'm just saying I'm starting to trend into that motion, and I don't want to, but I just want to put everybody on notice that if she get there, I'm gonna announce it, and y'all gonna be mad at me. But I'm gonna just keep it real with myself. I'm just going to have to put it there. And let me just get it straight too. We are a blurb show. It's a bunch of white people I feel like this about. But when they make movies and we review them, I will be quick to call they asses out. But I just want to put that out there for me. Sorry, that was my tandem. Sorry.
Let's also be clear, for at least from my standpoint, she's still better than Tyler Perry. Her track record is still better than Tyler Perry's. All right. Let's just be honest.
Facts.
She may be inconsistent, but like still, some of the stuff that she has created has been better than the entire catalog of Tyler Perry's movies and properties.
That is a very good statement. I can't lie on that one. I'll give you that one.
So we might see in the future where this leads. Could she be the next? I don't know. I can't even think of like Melvin Band Peoples. I don't know. But
it's funny you mentioned. I was just watching an episode of Living Single where Regina was dating Melvin and Marvin Van Peoples, like dating the pops and the son. It was a really good episode of Living Single. But it's just funny that you brought that up when I just watched that episode this morning. And I was like, oh, I forgot they was on this show. And I forgot how good this episode was. But sorry. The things we remember. All right. Upload season 2. One of the biggest problems that we weren't around is because I drank all my nerd focus. I was out. I was lethargic. I was tired. I couldn't focus, man. So if you want to keep us making these things regularly, we got to keep us focused. And how you keep us focused is by you buying some nerd focus. The link will be in the description. And then that way, when they give us money, we can give it back to them by buying nerd focus.
More nerd focus.
Stay focused. So it's just a cycle of nerd focusing all the way through the nerd focusing of the most nerd focusing. And we all will be pleased. We all will be focused. We all will have the brain power to give you all what you need and all what you want all the times. I mean, Jason was drinking it, and he may have some prospects for a girlfriend because he was able to talk to girls.
No, I tried. Look, some problems cannot be fixed.
That being said, please go ahead and try some nerd focus. The link is in the description. And if you ever want to guest on the show, by all means, let us know in the comments. I'll send you my email. You can email me back. I'll let you know what we're going to review, let you know what we're going to do, what time we're going to do it. And then if it works out for you, we can get you on the show. I love that about this. I always want to make this definitely a community and a family. But again, guys, thank you so much for watching. Jason, any final words?
If we do blow up, y'all can still come to the show, but y'all can't come by my house. I'm kidding. Be kind, be considerate, and always, always, always tip your bartenders and servers, and even to-go people at least 20%, if not more, if you can afford it. Because that's how they make their money, and they got kids to feed. So, please. Yeah, that's it.
And as
That's all I gotta say.
always, guys, thank you. We will see you all next week. Peace.
Peace.
And X gonna give it to you.